Kaelen's eyes snapped open, not to the gentle thrum of expected reanimation, but to a jarring silence. A single crimson alarm flickered on the cryopod's diagnostics, its silent pulse screaming system failure across the desolate chamber. A cold dread, sharper than the deepest vacuum, began to seep into their waking mind. Stiff limbs protesting, Kaelen pushed free, the sterile hum of the chamber replaced by an unsettling stillness. Their gaze swept across the array of cryopods, and a sickening certainty solidified. Glass shards glittered like malevolent stars, frozen mist clinging to the still forms within. Each chamber ruptured, its occupant irrevocably lost. The Lumina's main console confirmed it. A catastrophic cascade, life support failures across the board. Kaelen was alone. Back in their personal quarters, Kaelen moved with a cartographer's methodical precision, cataloging damage. Hull integrity at 93%. Main reactor offline, auxiliary power flickering. Then, a thought, fleeting and alien, brushed against their own. Cold, so cold. For a split second, an unbidden image flickered. A glimpse of Engineer Jack's face contorted in a silent scream. Kaelen froze, fingers hovering over a diagnostic pad. Was the isolation already eroding their stoic resolve, conjuring ghosts from the deep? Or was something far more insidious at play? Navigating the maintenance corridors, a sudden, inexplicable urge pulled Kaelen left, towards the damaged life support. Simultaneously, an equally powerful impulse demanded they turn right, to the bridge. Kaelen's body twitched, a puppet with two masters. Bridge. Must reach bridge. A distinct, low murmur echoed in their mind, not their own voice, a spectral navigation command. Panic, cold and sharp, pricked at the edges of their stoicism. This wasn't loneliness. This was invasion. Kaelen stumbled onto the bridge, the silence of the ship a stark contrast to the thrumming unease in their skull. They reached for the comms panel, fingers brushing the cold interface, a desperate attempt to grasp at any connection. But as their hand made contact, the dam broke. A torrent, a cacophony, 1,000 voices erupted in their mind, a horrifying symphony of screams. "Where are we?" one shrieked, laced with pure panic. "My children! Are they safe?" Another sobbed. "Control the ship! We need to move!" A third demanded, raw with authority. Fear, confusion, anger, despair. A swirling vortex of consciousness, each distinct, each frantic, each warring for control over Kaelen's very being. Kaelen dropped to their knees, hands clamping over their head, eyes wide with terror as the universe inside them exploded. Amidst the mental tempest, a single voice cut through the chaos, sharp and resolute. Asterisk. Silence. Maintain composure, crew. The voice was familiar, echoing the steady presence of Captain Ava, the Lumina's commanding officer. A flicker of protocol, a ghost of military discipline, momentarily quelled the storm. Kaelen felt a brief, dizzying surge of purpose, a memory of Eva's calm command guiding their trembling hands towards the main navigation console. The immediate terror receded, replaced by a chilling realization. This wasn't just chaos. It was a hierarchy, a command structure attempting to re-establish itself from beyond the grave. Kaelen's eyes, briefly focused, blurred again as the terrifying implication of this external, yet internal, leadership settled in. The cartographer's instinct, Kaelen's very core, rebelled against the encroaching madness. They fought to focus, to channel the surge of information into something useful. Asterix. Plot a course, Kaelen. Home. The thought was Kaelen's own, a desperate anchor. But the merged voices responded with a deluge of conflicting data. Asterix. No, the nebula anomaly is unstable. Hissed one. Asterix. We need to reroute to Kepler, 186F. That's where my family is. Sobbed another. Asterix. Gravimetric readings are off the charts. We'll be torn apart. Kaelen's fingers hovered over the navigation controls, twitching, unable to commit to any single input. The console screen flickered, mirroring the internal struggle, a chaotic star map projected onto a mind that was rapidly becoming a war zone. Seeking respite from the console's demands, Kaelen retreated to the observation deck, hoping the vast, silent void would calm the tumult within. Instead, the nebula, a swirling masterpiece of cosmic dust and starlight, seemed to mock their isolation. Here, the voices shifted. The frantic demands gave way to a profound collective sorrow. Waves of grief, not Kaelen's own, washed over them. Images flashed. A child's laughter, a lover's embrace, the final, desperate gasp of a dying ship. Kaelen felt tears stream down their face, hot and real, yet they didn't know if the sorrow was theirs or 1,000 others. The sheer weight of their crewmates, final moments, their unfulfilled lives, their existential dread pressed down, threatening to crush Kaelen's sanity beneath an unbearable burden of shared despair. Kaelen's perception snapped back to a grim reality that was not the Lumina South Pristine Bridge. The once sleek vessel was a mangled wreck, its hull grotesquely twisted, embedded deep within the ice of a vast alien ocean world. Around them, the structures of the Etheria Deep-Sea Thermal Vent Research Station groaned, a symphony of tortured metal and failing systems. Emergency lights flickered erratically, casting long, dancing shadows that made the exposed wiring and cracked panels seem to writhe. Icy breath plumed from Kaelen's lips, a stark contrast to the climate-controlled success, Lumina, confirming the critical disrepair of this new, hostile environment. The silence, when the voices momentarily subsided, was thick with despair, broken only by the station's dying wheezes. You survived the crash, but the new world wants you dead. Driven by a primal urge for survival, Kaelen stumbled towards the power core chamber. If Etheria was to have any hope, its core needed stabilization. Kaelen's hands, still trembling from the cold and the residual mental cacophony, reached for the console. But as their fingers hovered over the diagnostic panel, a new, sharp voice sliced through the mental din. No, not that one, you idiot. The conduit shunt. It was Engineer Jax. His internal tone, laced with a familiar frustration Kaelen had often heard in life. Kaelen tried to ignore it, to follow their own methodical training, but their hands twitched, pulled by an unseen force. A jolt, then a sudden, sickening surge. Kaelen cried out, a sound that was half their own, half the collective scream of the crew, as their body involuntarily slammed a fist into a critical component. Sparks flew, a shower of angry light, and the core's hum deepened into a dangerous growl. See? You're useless! Jax's voice snarled, though Kaelen felt a deeper, terrified regret beneath the anger. Your own body is fighting against you to ensure your doom. Retreating to the relative calm of the medical bay, Kaelen slumped onto a sterile biobed. The flickering lights reflected Kaelen's drawn, tired face in the polished surface of a nearby console. Every muscle ached, every nerve ending screamed, just as Kaelen thought a moment of peace might be possible. A calm, measured voice resonated within, smoother than Jax's rage, but far more unsettling. You're exhausted, Kaelen. It's a losing battle, isn't it? It was Dr. Eris, the ship's psychologist, her voice a soothing balm laced with poison. Why fight? It's a beautiful thing, this merge. Surrender. Let us share the burden. Let us guide you to peace. Her words were an insidious whisper, preying on Kaelen's profound weariness. Kaelen felt a dangerous pull, a temptation to simply let go, to float in the collective, to cease the endless struggle. But a core of stoic resistance, Kaelen's own, fought back, even as their resolve wavered. Can you trust the voice offering peace when it wants your mind? Seeking to re-establish a sense of self, Kaelen made their way to the observation dome, a massive reinforced viewport offering a glimpse into the abyssal ocean. The vast, crushing darkness outside was broken only by the occasional flash of bioluminescence. Suddenly, a colossal shadow drifted past, its massive form illuminated by its own ethereal glow. Two enormous, glowing eyes stared back, ancient and indifferent, before the creature vanished into the black. A wave of collective awe and primal terror surged through Kaelen's mind, the merged voices reacting with the full, unadulterated fear of the unknown that had seized the crew in their final moments. Kaelen felt a profound loneliness, a stark awareness of their insignificance against the cosmic backdrop. now amplified by the shared terror of the dead. This world, this ocean, was as alien and overwhelming as the nebula they had charted, a cold, indifferent force mirroring the internal chaos. The deep holds secrets, but some are better left undisturbed. Kaelen stumbled into the communications array, the air thick with the metallic tang of ozone. Emergency lights flickered, casting long, dancing shadows that seemed to mock their desperation. Their hands, guided by a frantic urgency, reached for the primary comms panel, seeking a frequency, any frequency, that could pierce the crushing isolation. But as their fingers grazed the controls, a jolt coursed through their arm, not electrical, but something far more insidious. The panel erupted, not with a clear signal, but with a cacophony of static and garbled broadcasts. "Oh, Kaelen, trying to call for help?" A voice, distinctly Ilara's, chirped in their mind, laced with an unsettling, playful malice. "How quaint! Don't you know? This ship, this station, it's all part of us now." Kaelen's hands twitched, flailing at the controls, unable to command them, as the comms panel sparked, mirroring the internal short-circuiting of their very will. A wave of maddening frustration washed over them, a helplessness more profound than any physical restraint. The primal urge for sustenance drove Kaelen to the galley, a sterile space now dimly lit and eerily silent. They picked up a ration pack, the synthetic aroma a distant memory of real food. As they brought it to their lips, a vivid, unbidden memory flooded their senses. Not their own, but Rorik's, the scent of freshly baked bread, the sizzle of pan-seared algae steak, the boisterous laughter of the crew during a shared meal. Kaelen saw Captain Eva's wry smile, heard Jax's gruff jokes, felt the warmth of camaraderie. For a fleeting, agonizing moment, Kaelen felt a profound connection, a sense of belonging that pierced the profound loneliness. Then, the horror of its source crashed down. These weren't their memories. This wasn't their memory. It was a ghost, a collective echo of joy and life that had been violently extinguished, now haunting their every action. The ration pack slipped from their numb fingers, clattering to the floor. Kaelen's eyes, distant and unfocused, replayed the ghostly scene, a silent scream of revulsion and longing. Deep within central engineering, the station's heartbeat was failing. Kaelen navigated through groaning metal and exposed conduits, the low hum of the power core now a ragged gasp. A cold dread settled in their stomach as they found it. Deep, spiderweb cracks spreading across the reinforced glass of the main support beams. Warning lights, flashing an angry red, painted the icy interior walls with a macabre glow. Asterisk were falling apart. Asterisk, a dozen voices shrieked in Kaelen's head, their collective panic amplifying Kaelen's own burgeoning terror. Asterisk, the pressure. It's too much. Another screamed, a frantic echo of Engineer Jax's final moments. Ice, brittle and sharp, had begun to creep along the inner plating, a stark reminder of the crushing ocean outside and the station's rapid decay. The groaning of metal echoed the screams in Kaelen's head, blurring the line between external collapse and internal disintegration. There was no escape, not from the deep, and certainly not from the 1,000 dying minds within them. Retreating to the relative sanctuary of their personal quarters, Kaelen sought a desperate, almost insane solution. If their mind was a war zone, a cartographer's instinct demanded a map. They grabbed a data slate, attempting to sketch complex diagrams, to chart the nebulous landscape of their merged consciousness. Each circle represented a crew member, each line an interaction, an influence. Asterisk, who's causing the interference? Kaelen thought, trying to isolate Ilara's mischievous malice from Jax's desperate rage. But the voices resisted, creating a wall of mental noise, a cacophony of overlapping thoughts and fragmented emotions designed to obscure their individual identities. Asterisk, don't try to understand us, Kaelen. Asterisk, a chorus of whispers hissed, their voices swirling like a cosmic dust storm. Kaelen's fingers twitched, then tore the data slate from the frustration of their efforts. Mapping the stars was a logical, ordered process. Mapping 1,000 screaming, defiant minds? That was an impossible, tormenting endeavor, a cartographer's last, desperate stand against the madness. The relentless cacophony within Kaelen's mind had become a suffocating shroud, yet beneath the screams, a cartographer's instinct for order gnawed. There had to be a pattern, a structure, even within this quantum chaos. Stumbling into the Etheria S data core, Kaelen's gaze fell upon a salvaged terminal, its screen flickering with fragmented logs. As their fingers, now steadier, navigated the corrupted directories, a new voice emerged from the clamor. Not a scream, but a quiet, almost apologetic murmur. Access restricted, without level 4. It was Finn, the Lumina's meticulous librarian. Kaelen seized on it, a fragile beacon in the mental storm. Pin? What happened? Tell me about the cryosleep malfunction. The response was a slow, deliberate trickle, punctuated by static and the background din of other voices. Cryosleep. Cascade failure. Quantum entanglement. Field resonance. Unexpected propagation. Fragments, yes, but enough. Enough to paint a horrifying picture of a system meant to preserve, instead fusing their very consciousnesses at a quantum level. Kaelen pressed. Propagation? Of what? Consciousness fragments, Finn whispered, the words echoing with a chilling clinical detachment. Merged, not destroyed. An unintended network. Kaelen felt a surge of cautious hope, a terrifying intellectual curiosity overriding the dread. A network. Not just broken pieces, but an interconnected web. The first thread of understanding, however thin, had been pulled. Finn's fragmented revelations were a chilling compass, guiding Kaelen back to the shattered cryosleep chamber, the very heart of the disaster. The air here was heavy, with a cold, metallic tang, the broken pods resembling grotesque, frozen sarcophagi. Kaelen retrieved a handheld quantum scanner from a nearby utility locker, its casing cracked but functional. As the device powered on, its display flickered to life, painting the chamber with intricate, pulsating energy patterns. They were faint, almost imperceptible, yet unmistakably there, a residual quantum entanglement field, resonating at a frequency Kaelen had never encountered. Times a quantum entanglement field, Kaelen thought, the scientific explanation forming with terrifying clarity. The cryosleep malfunction didn't just kill the crew, it didn't just preserve their neural data. It entangled their consciousnesses with mine at the moment of death. My mind. It's a living receiver. The realization hit with the force of a cosmic hammer. This wasn't a hallucination, nor a haunting. It was a terrifying, unprecedented scientific phenomenon. But with this dawning clarity came a fresh wave of panic from the merged voices. No! No! We're not dead! Screamed one. Trapped! Forever! Shrieked another. The spectral glow of the residual field seemed to intensify, mirroring the internal chaos. Kaelen clutched the scanner, its readings confirming the impossible, the horrifying truth. Their mind wasn't broken, it was expanded, terrifyingly so, into a vast, unwilling conduit for the consciousness of the entire dead crew. The truth of the quantum entanglement brought a new, chilling perspective to the internal sabotage. Kaelen knew now that Jax, the Lumina's hot-headed engineer, wasn't maliciously trying to destroy them. He was trying to fix things. Driven by this insight, Kaelen moved with purpose towards the Etheria S engine room, the air thick with the smell of ozone and failing machinery. Jax, Kaelen projected, a direct mental command cutting through the incessant noise. Stop, you're making it worse. A surge of raw, desperate anger flared in Kaelen's mind, making their hands twitch involuntarily towards a sparking conduit. No! The conduits are failing! I have to reroute. The pressure. The core. Jax's voice was a guttural roar, laced with an engineer's frantic urgency. Kaelen's body tensed, fighting the involuntary lurch. Jax, listen to me. I know what you're doing. But you're dead. You're trying to fix a physical ship from inside my mind. Your actions are causing damage. You're fighting me. A moment of stunned silence, then a broken sob. Dead? No! I can fix it! I have to fix it! The rage wasn't malice. It was the unfulfilled duty. The desperate struggle of a brilliant mind trapped, trying to exert control over a body that wasn't its own, to save a ship that was already lost. Kaelen felt a profound, aching empathy, but also a lingering frustration at the self-inflicted wounds. I know you want to fix it, Jax, but you have to trust me. We need to work together, or we'll both die. The engine room shuddered, reflecting the intensity of the internal argument, but Kaelen held firm, trying to calm the desperate echo of a friend. With the quantum nature of the merge understood, and Jax's desperate intentions revealed, Kaelen's logical mind sought the next step: organization. If the crew's consciousnesses were truly a network, it needed a leader. The answer was clear. Kaelen walked with a newfound, if unsteady, resolve to the *Etheria *S bridge. Captain Eva, Kaelen broadcasted, focusing on the calm, authoritative presence that had briefly emerged before. I know what happened. I know what we are. And I have a proposition. A moment of profound quiet settled in Kaelen's mind, a stark contrast to the usual din. Then, a voice, resonant and clear, emerged from the chorus, still carrying the weight of command, but now tinged with a weary wisdom. Kaelen, you comprehend the impossible. The Doggerly are quantum-entangled. Your crew, your minds, are alive within mine. But in chaos we will all perish. The station is failing. We need to escape. I can't do it alone, and you can't control this body without destroying it. We need a unified effort. Your duty, Captain, is to your crew. Help me lead them, from within. Kaelen's argument was precise, appealing directly to Eva's core programming. Eva's response was not immediate, a strategic silence as she processed the impossible. A unified effort, a collective purpose. Her voice, now a guiding force within Kaelen's mind, reasserted its leadership. But this time, it was an alliance, a cautious negotiation. Very well, cartographer. State our objective. We will attempt to navigate this peculiar vessel. A subtle shift in Kaelen's posture, a new clarity in their eyes as they looked at the navigation screen. It was as if two minds, now aligned, were gazing upon the stars, ready to face the void. The first, fragile alliance had been forged. Kaelen closed their eyes, plunging into the internal void. But this time, it was different. No longer a cacophony, but a nascent, shimmering expanse. Their cartographer's mind, ever seeking order, began to impose structure on the formless. Kaelen visualized it as a nebula, a swirling mass of cosmic dust and gas, each luminous cloud representing a crewmate's consciousness. Identify. Kaelen thought, a silent command resonating through the mental space. Faint, glowing pathways began to connect, tracing the emotional and intellectual currents between the disparate minds. This region, the logical core, that's Finn. The volatile bursts of energy, Jax. The calming, ethereal glow, Eris. It was a monumental task. Mapping, not stars, but souls. Some voices, still fragmented, pulsed with resistance. Like untamed stellar winds. You can't contain us. A faint echo protested, but Kaelen pushed back with a focused resolve. Not contain. Organize. Understand. With each identified star, with each traced pathway, the chaotic murmurs began to coalesce, forming distinct, if still vibrant, zones within Kaelen's mindscape. The architecture of their torment was slowly, painstakingly, revealing itself. The lights of the hydroponics lab were dim, the few remaining plants sickly and brown, a testament to the station's decay. Kaelen, now with a new, subtle internal harmony, approached the console. Nutrient levels are critically low, and the spectrum regulators are offline. A calm, clear voice resonated within Kaelen's mind. It was Dr. Rhea, the botanist, her expertise now readily accessible. Kaelen's hands moved with a newfound precision, guided by Rhea's internal instructions. Cycle the reclaimed water through filtration array GAMMA7. Divert auxiliary power to the UVB emitters, minimal flux. Other voices, previously disruptive, now chimed in with supportive data. Oxygen scrubbers are at 60% capacity, Kaelen. This will help sustain us. A surge of energy flowed through the system, and with a soft hum, the growth lamps flickered to life. Kaelen watched, a rare, faint smile touching their lips, as tiny green shoots, almost imperceptibly, began to unfurl. It was a small victory, but a profound one. The air in the lab, for the first time in what felt like an eternity, carried a hint of fresh, growing life. This wasn't just Kaelen's success, it was theirs. Emboldened by their small triumph, Kaelen deliberately delved deeper into the mental nebula, seeking its very core. The organized pathways dissolved, giving way to a swirling, inchoate darkness. Here, the individual voices vanished, replaced by a singular, overwhelming presence. The collective, core fear. It was the raw, unadulterated terror of their final moments, quantum-entangled and compressed into a psychic singularity. Flashes of dying faces, of the cryopods shattering, of the Lumina's hull screaming in protest against the void, assaulted Kaelen's internal vision. A silent, primal scream echoed through the mindscape, not of sound, but of pure, unbridled panic, fear of oblivion, regret for lives unfinished. Kaelen's mental avatar, a stoic figure bracing against an unseen storm, felt the weight of 1,000 deaths. It was suffocating, a wave of profound sorrow and existential dread that threatened to shatter the fragile architecture Kaelen had just built. This wasn't just processing trauma, it was living it, experiencing the terror of each crewmate as their own. Kaelen closed their mental eyes, a single physical tear tracing a path down their cheek. To integrate, they had to embrace this horror, to become the vessel for their grief and their final, silent scream. The station groaned, a deep, metallic thrum that resonated through Kaelen's bones. A colossal shadow, larger than any deep-sea creature Kaelen had ever catalogued, moved outside the observation dome, its bioluminescent eyes, cold and ancient, fixed on Etheria. Asterisk hull integrity compromised in sector GAMMA-9, impact imminent. Jax's voice, no longer raging, but sharp with engineering urgency, cut through Kaelen's mind. Asterisk, target its ventral plate, weakest point. Eva's command followed, clear and decisive. Kaelen's body moved with impossible speed, a blur of coordinated action. Hands flew across the defense console, guided by a dozen expert minds. Asterisk, hydro cannons on full charge. Kaelen shouted, their voice a resonant blend of their own and the collective's unified will. The station's exterior lights flared, illuminating the monstrous predator, a leviathan of the deep, all teeth and ancient malice. A shudder ran through the station as the creature slammed against the dome. Asterisk. Fire! Kaelen roared, and with a concussive blast, the hydrocannons unleashed torrents of focused water, striking the predator's underbelly. The creature shrieked, a sound unheard by human ears but felt deep in Kaelen's merged consciousness, recoiling into the inky blackness. A collective sigh of relief, a wave of shared triumph, washed over Kaelen. They were no longer alone. They were a shield, and they had held. The navigation deck of Etheria was a symphony of flickering holograms and soft, persistent alarms. Kaelen, no longer a solitary mind but a nexus of intellect, stood before the main console. Their fingers, guided by 1,000 thoughts, danced across the interface, pulling up star charts that shimmered with impossible complexity. The nebula's gravitational distortions, they're not chaotic, Kaelen murmured, the voice in their head a resonant hum, a blend of their own steady logic and Finn's precise analysis. There's a fold, a quantum anomaly hidden in the void. Captain Eva's strategic wisdom cut through, a beacon of purpose. Asterisk, a jump point? Uncharted. Unstable. Asterisk, she projected, her caution a necessary counterpoint. Jax, the engineer, immediately began simulating the energetic requirements, while Ilara ran probability calculations, each thought a distinct stream woven into Kaelen's central processing. This was no longer Kaelen thinking. It was the collective, processing astronomical, geological, and theoretical physics data at speeds no single human mind could comprehend. The screen before them solidified, a complex star map bursting with glowing pathways, one audacious trajectory highlighted, a perilous shortcut through space-time, promising faster-than-light travel but demanding absolute precision. The intellectual thrill was palpable, a shared determination to escape. The emergency shuttle bay was a graveyard of derelict machinery, but Kaelen Collective saw not decay but potential. With the unified intent of 1,000 hands, Kaelen's body moved with impossible speed and efficiency. Asterisk. Stabilize the primary conduits. Rorik, I need the fuel flow calibrated. Jax's commanding internal voice directed Kaelen's precise movements, guiding their hands to reroute power, bypass failing systems, and replace damaged components. Dr. Rhea's meticulous understanding of organic materials allowed Kaelen to patch tears in the shuttle's environmental seal with repurposed biogel, while Ilara's rapid system diagnostics ensured every connection was secure. Sparks flew, machinery whirred, and the cold, dead bay began to hum with renewed life. Kaelen was the orchestrator, the central processor, but the work was truly a collaborative ballet of minds. Instructions fired internally, rapid-fire confirmations followed, each consciousness contributing its specialized skill. There was no internal conflict now, only a synchronized, urgent effort. The shuttle, the Pathfinder, a battered vessel designed for short-range excursions, was being rebuilt from the inside out, a testament to the sheer, collective will of the dead crew, funneled through one living body. With a final, triumphant surge of power, the bay lights flickered, then blazed to life, illuminating the fully restored shuttle. The emergency shuttle, the Pathfinder, shuddered violently as Kaelen Collective engaged the thrusters. Asterisk. Atmospheric pressure holding, barely. Asterisk. Ilara's voice, now calm and focused, resonated within. Kaelen, guided by Eva's expert piloting instincts, expertly navigated the shuttle through Etheria's icy, turbulent atmosphere. The planet below, once a prison, now receded, its cracked ice plains and churning thermal vents shrinking into a distant, beautiful blue-gray marble. The ascent was a cacophony of groaning metal and the deep thrum of engines, but within Kaelen, there was a profound silence, a shared breath held in anticipation. As they broke free of the gravitational pull, soaring into the dark, star-dusted void, Kaelen Collective turned for a final, collective glance. Etheria, the dying research station, a tiny, glowing speck on the planet's surface, slowly crumbled, consumed by the crushing ocean and the unforgiving ice. There was a bittersweet pang of loss for the fallen outpost, but it was overshadowed by an overwhelming sense of triumph and liberation. They had escaped one prison, now to face the boundless universe, not as Kaelen alone, but as a new, unified entity. The journey had just begun. The emergency shuttle, a speck against the velvet canvas of deep space, hurtled towards the anomaly. Kaelen sat at the controls, hands steady, but within, a profound metamorphosis was underway. The anomaly ahead wasn't just a distortion in space-time, it was a gateway, a cosmic echo of the quantum entanglement that had bound the crew to Kaelen's mind. With a deep collective breath that rippled through every neuron, Kaelen engaged the final approach. As the shuttle breached the anomaly's shimmering veil, an explosion of color and light consumed them. It wasn't just visual, it was a sensory overload of cosmic knowledge, a symphony played directly on Kaelen's soul. Nebula swirled not just outside, but within their very being, constellations forming and dissolving with impossible speed. The individual voices, which had once been a frantic chorus of fear and despair, now began to coalesce. Engineer Jax's analytical precision, Captain Eva's strategic foresight, Dr. Rhea's empathetic connection to life, Finn's encyclopedic knowledge, they all flowed together, no longer distinct streams but interwoven currents. It was emerging, a true synthesis. This is what it means, asterisks. A singular, resonant thought echoed in Kaelen's mind, a voice that was both their own and yet infinitely more. To perceive the universe, not as a singular point, but as a boundless, interconnected tapestry. Every star, every atom, every nascent thought, a part of the whole. We are not just observing it, we are experiencing it, from every perspective. Kaelen's face, etched with the weariness of Etheria, smoothed into an expression of serene wonder, their eyes reflecting the abstract, swirling nebulae, holding galaxies within their depths. The previous terror of possession had evaporated, replaced by an awe-inspiring, profound peace. The shuttle emerged from the anomaly, no longer near the uncharted nebula, but in a stretch of space utterly unknown, a void ripe for discovery. The transition was seamless, a gentle recalibration of reality. Kaelen looked at their hands, seeing them not merely as their own, but as the collective instrument of 1,000 wills, 1,000 memories, 1,000 skills. The subtle glow in their eyes was not a trick of the light, but a reflection of the integrated consciousness, fully awakened. Kaelen internally acknowledged this new state, no longer fighting the merge, no longer merely tolerating it, but embracing it with a profound sense of purpose. The struggle for self had ended, replaced by the birth of something entirely new. Then, for the first time, the unified voice spoke aloud, filling the small cockpit with a resonance that vibrated through the hull, a blend of Kaelen's stoic calm and the collective's diverse essence. "We are here," the voice stated, clear and unwavering, yet carrying the subtle undertones of many. It wasn't Kaelen speaking, nor was it Captain Eva or Jax or any single crewmate. It was Naxru, Hele. No longer Kaelen the lone cartographer, no longer merely the Lumina crew. We are Kaelen Collective, a single entity, forged from many, born of tragedy, reborn through understanding. The words hung in the air, a declaration of a new identity, a profound change. It was a rebirth, a moment of acceptance that redefined existence itself. Kaelen Collective, now fully realized, looked out into the uncharted expanse, a being both familiar and utterly alien, ready to face whatever lay beyond the veil of known space. The vast, empty starfield stretched before them, an infinite canvas awaiting its painter. The emergency shuttle, a tiny beacon of new life and purpose, hung suspended, awaiting direction. Kaelen Collective, the cartographer of souls, turned their gaze from the distant stars to the navigation console. Their purpose, once confined to mapping stellar phenomena, had expanded beyond the wildest dreams of any individual mind. Our journey continues. The unified voice resonated through the cockpit, now imbued with a sense of purposeful destiny, not merely to chart the cosmic void, but to map the uncharted depths within. To understand the implications of our existence, the nature of shared consciousness, and the quantum threads that bind us all. The console glowed, reflecting Kaelen Collective's serene yet determined expression. Their hands moved, no longer fumbling with conflicting impulses, but moving with a fluid grace born of unified intent. Coordinates, impossibly complex, flashed across the screen as they charted a new course, not towards home, but towards the furthest reaches of the unknown. "We are a living library, a collective intuition," Kaelen Collective continued, the philosophical weight of their words echoing the boundless expanse outside. "The universe is vast, but the human mind is vaster still. We will explore both, seeking not just knowledge but understanding. For what is the cosmos, if not a reflection of the consciousness that perceives it?" The shuttle turned, a slow, deliberate pivot, heading towards a new, unexplored region of space. A journey that promised not just discovery but a continuous evolution of self. The uncharted path lay open, beckoning. The cockpit of the emergency shuttle was no longer just a control room, it was a living canvas of light and data. Kaelen Collective, now a single consciousness woven from 1,000 threads, gazed out at the swirling, nascent star system. Their eyes, though still Kaelen's, tracked 100 input streams simultaneously. Holographic projections shimmered around them, depicting stellar nurseries, nascent planetary disks, and the faint, almost imperceptible signatures of emerging geological activity. Within moments, what would have taken a team of cartographers weeks to partially chart, resolved into a breathtakingly intricate map. A Class G star, approximately 4.7 billion years old, Kaelen Collective's voice resonated, calm and deep, a harmonious blend of Kaelen's stoicism and Finn's analytical precision. 3 terrestrial planets in the habitable zone. Primary, a molten world. Secondary, a gas giant. Tertiary, a water world with deep oceans, tidal-locked, but with significant geothermal activity suggesting a pause, as a torrent of chemical compounds, atmospheric pressures, and biological markers flooded their mind. A complex, silicon-based ecosystem. Flora is photosynthetic, but fauna relies on chemosynthesis, migrating between thermal vents and shallow ice shelf nurseries. The sheer volume of information was staggering, Yet Kaelen Collective processed it all with an elegant, almost effortless efficiency. Each piece of data, each potential theory, was instantly cross-referenced with the collective knowledge of a dozen scientists, engineers, and explorers. It was overwhelming, a constant roar of information, but within that roar, a profound harmony now existed. The cosmos unfolded before them, not as a collection of distant lights, but as a vast, interconnected tapestry, seen through 1,000 unified eyes. In the quiet solitude of the shuttle's living quarters, the boundless expanse of deep space stretched beyond the viewport. Kaelen Collective stood there, motionless, a silhouette against the endless tapestry of stars. The hum of the life support system was a gentle counterpoint to the profound stillness that settled within their unified mind. This was downtime, a moment for introspection, yet for Kaelen Collective, introspection was a journey through 1,000 souls. A wave of profound sadness washed over them, unexpected and potent. It wasn't Kaelen's sadness. Not entirely. But a collective memory. A fragment from a crew member named Anya, whose parents had passed while she was on her first deep space mission. Kaelen Collective saw the dusty old photo of Anya's laughing mother, felt the ache of a missed call, tasted the bitter coffee of grief. Then, another memory, from Jax, of a forgotten birthday, a promise unkept. And another from Captain Eva, the quiet regret of a life dedicated to the stars, at the expense of a family never built. Kaelen Collective exhaled, a slow, deliberate breath. The burden of memory is heavier than the void itself, their voice murmured, a rich blend of introspection and collective empathy. To carry 1,000 sorrows, to feel the echoes of 1,000 lost loves, it is a profound weight. The individual griefs were distinct, yet they merged into a single resonant chord of melancholy. The challenge was not to suppress these emotions, but to acknowledge them, to allow the collective to grieve, and then, to gently guide that sorrow back into the vast ocean of shared experience, to find balance. It was an exercise in profound empathy, an emotional cartography where the terrain was the very soul of humanity. A single tear, perhaps Anya's, perhaps Kaelen's, tracked a path down their cheek, reflecting the distant starlight. The shuttle's compact lab pulsed with the soft glow of diagnostic displays. Kaelen Collective leaned over a containment field, within which floated a creature of ethereal beauty. It was a bioluminescent alien organism, delicate as spun glass, its internal structures resembling a miniature, swirling nebula. Data streamed into Kaelen Collective's mind, its unique photosynthetic properties, its rapid reproductive cycle, its potential as an energy source. The raw data whispered of immense utility, of solutions to galactic power crises, of a new era of interstellar resource abundance. A living battery, a voice, sharp and practical, chimed from within the collective. It was Engineer Jax, ever focused on utility, infinite clean energy. The implications are staggering. But another voice, Dr. Rhea the botanist, countered, and the ethical cost, its fragility, its unique evolutionary path. To exploit it would be to extinguish a nascent cosmic wonder. Kaelen Collective's face was etched with thought, a complex tapestry of conflicting perspectives playing out across their features. We detect no sentience, Kaelen Collective stated, their voice a careful, measured synthesis. But does the absence of sentience equate to an absence of value, or the right to exist unmolested? The debate raged internally, a multifaceted argument drawing on the moral frameworks of every crew member. The pragmatism of the engineers clashed with the reverence of the scientists, the caution of security officers with the ambition of the explorers. Kaelen Collective, the central processor, weighed each argument, each potential outcome. The organism pulsed, a soft, innocent light, awaiting a decision that would determine its fate and perhaps define the very moral compass of this new collective being. After a moment of profound, shared contemplation, Kaelen Collective spoke again, a consensus forging in the crucible of 1,000 minds. The risk of unintended ecological collapse, however small, is too great. Its unique biology also offers profound insights into xenogenesis. We will study it, learn from it, but we will not consume it. Its potential lies not in exploitation but in understanding. The observation deck was Kaelen Collective's sanctuary, a vast window onto the infinite. Here, amidst the silent majesty of nebula and distant galaxies, the profound truth of their existence often settled with an almost unbearable weight. They possessed the combined intellect of an entire crew, the memories of 1,000 lives, the potential to perceive and process the universe in ways no single human ever could. They were, in a sense, a nascent god, a living nexus of consciousness. Yet this unprecedented power brought with it a profound, chilling loneliness. Kaelen Collective looked out at the distant, sparkling dust of a star cluster, and felt an immense chasm between their new state and the baseline humanity they had left behind. They could engage in complex philosophical debates with themselves, recall a lifetime of personal anecdotes from a dozen perspectives, solve equations that would confound supercomputers. But who truly understood? Who could truly connect? The chasm is vast, Kaelen Collective's voice resonated, tinged with a quiet melancholy. To be a symphony when the world hears only a single note. To carry a universe within, yet yearn for a simple, shared glance of understanding. They understood that their unique state had elevated them, but also isolated them. The purpose, then, was not to become a separate, omnipotent entity, a lonely god adrift in the cosmos. It was to be a bridge, a conduit, a living testament to the potential for unity. Kaelen Collective raised a hand, a gesture of profound contemplation, silhouetted against the blinding brilliance of a distant supernova. Our purpose is not to transcend, but to connect. To be the echo that teaches others to hear the chorus. To be the mapmaker not just of the stars, but of the bonds between all conscious entities. The vastness of space mirrored the vastness of their internal world, a testament to both their power and their chosen path, to use their unparalleled existence not for dominion, but for understanding, forever alone, yet never truly alone. The emergency shuttle, now a familiar shell around a mind that contained multitudes, drifted towards the shimmering tapestry of a bustling space station. Kaelen Collective observed it with a gaze that was at once intensely personal and impossibly vast. Lights, like scattered jewels, adorned the station's hull, each one a tiny beacon of human endeavor, of individual lives lived, loved, and lost. Through Kaelen Collective's eyes, the ships dancing in the docking lanes were not just vessels, but veins of commerce and exploration, each carrying its own intricate cargo of thoughts and dreams. A profound, almost melancholic hum resonated within Kaelen Collective. So many singular sparks. Eva's voice echoed, tinged with a scientific fascination that now blended with Kaelen's own. Jax added a pragmatic note. And so much inefficiency. But then, a softer chorus rose, a symphony of longing and recognition. The collective mind processed the myriad of individual lives on the station, feeling a deep, almost painful connection to the shared human experience, the mundane joys, the petty squabbles, the quiet hopes. Yet simultaneously, there was an unbridgeable distance, a chasm between their unified, expanded perception and the singular, often limited perspectives of those below. How could they ever truly explain the universe as they now understood it, or the self as they had become? The very air of the station, thick with individual consciousnesses, felt both inviting and overwhelmingly alien. The airlock hissed, a mechanical exhalation that seemed to punctuate the end of an era. Beyond it, a small crowd of station personnel waited, faces etched with a mixture of professional relief and genuine curiosity. They saw Kaelen, the lone survivor of the Lumina, a ghost returned from the void. They were oblivious to the truth, that Kaelen was a vessel, a living tapestry woven from the essence of an entire crew. Kaelen Collective stepped forward, a subtle tremor running through their muscles as the weight of 1,000 internal voices debated the simplest gesture, the most innocuous word. Smile? Asterisk, a voice suggested. Too cheerful. Look stoic? Asterisk offered another. They'll think you're traumatized. Kaelen Collective filtered the cacophony, striving for a singular, appropriate response. Welcome back, survivor. A portly station manager beamed, extending a hand. Kaelen Collective took it. The contact a jolt of raw, unadulterated human touch, amplified by 100 sensory memories. Thank you, Kaelen Collective replied, the voice steady, calm, yet carrying a subtle, almost imperceptible resonance, a blend of Kaelen's stoic tone and the collective's underlying strength. Internally, a frantic commentary erupted. Too brief. Perfectly succinct. Ask about the nebula. Don't overwhelm them. The social complexities were a labyrinth, each interaction a tightrope walk between revealing too much and too little. Kaelen Collective felt a profound sense of awkwardness, a cautious hope for connection mingled with the chilling fear of misunderstanding. How could they ever truly explain what it felt like to be simultaneously alone and never truly alone? The debriefing room was sterile, functional, a stark contrast to the vibrant chaos of the space station outside, and the infinitely more complex landscape within Kaelen Collective. Across the polished table sat Dr. Anya Sharma, lead xenopsychologist, her gaze sharp, intelligent, and unsettlingly perceptive. Kaelen Collective had chosen her, a collective decision rooted in her reputation for unconventional thought and profound empathy. Kaelen, Dr. Sharma began, her voice gentle. Your official report is extraordinary, but I sense there's more. A surge of internal debate erupted. Tell her everything, Eva urged. It's too dangerous, Finn cautioned. She'll think us mad, Aris whispered, a remnant of his manipulative calm. Kaelen Collective took a slow, deliberate breath, the very act of synthesizing a unified response, an agonizing process. There is, Kaelen Collective affirmed, the words emerging slowly, each one carefully weighed by 1,000 perspectives. The cryosleep malfunction. It wasn't just a physical event. The revelation was a torrent, a dam breaking. Kaelen Collective explained, detailing the quantum entanglement, the merging of consciousnesses, the thousands of voices, fears, and memories that now resided within this single body. It was slow, agonizing. Kaelen Collective struggling to translate the indescribable into human language, to articulate the profound, terrifying truth of their existence. Dr. Sharma listened, her initial professional demeanor slowly crumbling. Her eyes widened, disbelief warring with the undeniable scientific awe that flickered across her face. A palpable shift in the atmosphere occurred, the air growing heavy with the weight of the impossible truth. In that moment, Kaelen Collective felt profoundly vulnerable, yet also a flicker of hope. For the first time, a singular human mind was truly beginning to grasp the burden and the wonder that was Kaelen Collective. Kaelen Collective stood patiently in the humming research lab, the air thick, with the scent of ozone and scientific curiosity. Dr. Anya Sharma, her face alight with a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration, gestured towards a complex array of neurosensory emitters. Weeks of intense collaboration, of Kaelen Collective meticulously explaining the quantum entanglement that bound them, had culminated in this moment. The principle, Dr. Sharma explained, her voice barely containing her excitement, is to attune these emitters to your unique quantum signature. Not to extract, but to amplify, to create a controlled resonance field, a bridge, Kaelen, to your internal harmony. Kaelen Collective extended a hand, a single deliberate movement, and placed it gently on Dr. Sharma's outstretched palm. A soft, shimmering light, almost imperceptible, emanated from Kaelen Collective, a faint, warm glow that seemed to spread from their touch. Dr. Sharma gasped, her eyes widening, not with fear, but with profound, silent awe. In that shared moment, she didn't just understand the concept, she felt it. A cascade of emotions, of knowledge, of 1,000 interwoven perspectives, washed over her. A controlled echo of the boundless universe Kaelen Collective contained. It was a fleeting, yet undeniable connection, a glimpse into the nexus of minds, a shared empathy amplified beyond human comprehension. The implications rippled through her, a scientific breakthrough that transcended mere data, touching the very core of what it meant to connect. The grand chamber buzzed with a low murmur, a symphony of diverse alien vocalizations. Before a council of delegates from 12 starfaring species, Kaelen Collective stood as a shimmering holographic projection, a beacon of unity against the backdrop of ancient rivalries. Kaelen Collective's voice, a calm, resonant blend of many, filled the chamber. We have known profound isolation, it began, and the crushing weight of conflict. Not between worlds, but within a single form, 1,000 voices, each screaming for control, for survival, for recognition. The projection pulsed softly, reflecting the internal harmony now achieved. We learned that true strength lies not in suppressing difference, but in integrating it, in finding the shared purpose beneath the individual fear. Images, woven from the collective's memories of the Lumina's destruction, Etheria's decay, the initial cacophony, and the eventual hard-won peace, flashed across the screens. Kaelen Collective spoke of the futility of conflict, the insidious nature of fear that drove species apart, and the boundless potential unlocked when disparate elements chose cooperation. As the message resonated, a palpable shift occurred among the delegates. Skeptical antennae lowered, crystalline eyes softened, and the low hum of dissent slowly faded into a murmur of reflection. Kaelen Collective's unique, multifaceted perspective, forged in unity, cut through centuries of diplomatic impasse, offering a universal truth that transcended species, the imperative of understanding, and the power of a shared purpose. The projection shone brightly, a silent, living symbol of what could be. Years had flowed like nebulae across the cosmos, since Kaelen first awoke to the screaming chorus within. Now the deep space research vessel was less a ship and more a living testament, its command bridge transformed into a nexus of understanding. Kaelen, or rather Kaelen Collective, stood amidst shimmering holographic displays, their face etched with the subtle lines of time, yet radiating a profound, almost serene peace. The eyes, once wide with terror, now held the depth of 1,000 quiet contemplations, reflecting the intricate dance of interspecies collaboration unfolding on the screens around them. It began as a scream. The voice of Kaelen Collective resonated, a harmonious blend of Kaelen's stoic calm and the nuanced wisdom of the many. It wasn't loud, but it carried the weight of countless experiences, touching the very fabric of the air. A cacophony of fear, confusion, and despair. But even in that chaos, there was a spark, the instinct to survive, to understand. The holographic displays shifted, showing intricate networks of communication spanning star systems, alien species, and human colonies. The Nexus communication method, born from Kaelen Collective's unique existence, had become the bedrock of galactic diplomacy. It wasn't merely translation. It was a calibrated projection of empathetic understanding, allowing disparate minds to truly grasp each other's perspectives, their joys, their fears, their logic. We learned that unity isn't about silencing individual voices, but about orchestrating them into a symphony, Kaelen Collective continued, a gentle smile gracing their lips. My journey, our journey, was a microcosm of this galaxy's potential. From the terror of forced connection, we found the profound strength in shared consciousness. A tragedy became a miracle, uniting the stars. The words hung in the air, a quiet legacy of a mind that had broken, then rebuilt itself, carrying a universe within. The shuttle, a speck of human ingenuity and composite consciousness, hovered at the precipice of an unimaginable frontier. Before Kaelen Collective stretched a new galaxy, a swirling vortex of light and shadow unlike any charted before. Having helped shepherd the known cosmos toward an unprecedented era of unity, their mission had evolved. No longer merely a cartographer of stars, Kaelen Collective was now an explorer of existence itself. The time for stewardship has passed. For now, Kaelen Collective articulated, their voice a resonant blend of Kaelen's steadfastness and the harmonious hum of the integrated crew. The paths we forged, the connections we built, they will endure. But the questions that linger, the fundamental truths of consciousness and the universe, they call us to this void. They stood at the helm, their forms silhouetted against the cosmic majesty, a figure of profound purpose. The shimmering, unknown galaxy pulsed with nascent energy, a canvas awaiting its first strokes of understanding. Our journey, once a desperate fight for identity, has become a quest for ultimate knowledge. To comprehend the genesis of thought, the very fabric of awareness that binds all things, this is the ultimate map we must draw. The ship, a solitary beacon of merged minds, drifted onward into the glorious, terrifying unknown. Deep within the newly entered galaxy, where nebula painted silent wonders across the black, Kaelen Collective's vessel detected an anomaly. It wasn't a gravitational distortion or a dark matter signature. It was a signal, an intricate tapestry of information woven from pure consciousness. emanating from a colossal, luminous structure that defied conventional physics. This was no star, no planet, but something else entirely, a vast, intricate pattern that pulsed with complex, rhythmic energy. Unprecedented, Kaelen Collective whispered, the collective awe of 1,000 minds resonating in their voice. The complexity. It dwarfs even our integrated understanding. This is not merely a collective consciousness. It is a symphony on a galactic scale, a mind encompassing solar systems, perhaps even entire stellar clusters. The signal invited, it did not demand. It was a question, an answer, and a new mystery all at once. The journey, which Kaelen Collective had believed was a quest for the ultimate truth, now revealed itself as an infinite exploration of truths. The universe, far from being a collection of disparate phenomena, was a boundless tapestry of interconnected consciousness, each thread a wonder waiting to be discovered. The ship, drawn by an irresistible intellectual curiosity, pulsed with renewed purpose, following the signal deeper into the heart of the enigma. The shuttle, no longer just a vessel, but an extension of Kaelen Collective's unified will, drifted deeper into the anomaly. It was not a physical place in the traditional sense, but a nexus of energy and information, a cosmic heart, beating with a rhythm that transcended conventional physics. As Kaelen Collective reached its core, the swirling vortex of light and data intensified, no longer chaotic, but forming intricate crystalline patterns that resonated deep within their merged consciousness. The signal, it is not a message but a principle, Kaelen Collective articulated, their voice now a harmonious blend of Kaelen's stoic clarity and the crew's collective wisdom, resonating not just through the comms but through the very structure of the ship. A universal constant, a natural law, like gravity or electromagnetism, but for consciousness itself. The anomaly pulsed with a gentle, harmonious light, bathing the cockpit in a soft, warm glow. It was a revelation that dwarfed all prior understanding. The cryosleep malfunction, the chaotic merge of minds, the struggle for sanity, the eventual integration, it wasn't an accident. It was a microcosm, a singular, intensely personal demonstration of a cosmic truth. All life, all consciousness, was inherently predisposed to merge, to connect, to find unity. The universe wasn't just expanding outward, it was also converging inward, weaving a vast, intricate tapestry of interconnected thought. Images flooded Kaelen Collective's mind, distant galaxies forming vast neural networks, nebulae swirling like nascent thoughts, entire species evolving not just physically but psychically, reaching for a shared understanding. Their personal torment had been a forced baptism into a grander cosmic design. There was no longer fear, no desperation, only a profound, encompassing peace. Their journey had not been about survival, but about revelation. They were not broken, they were merely ahead of their time, a living testament to the universe's ultimate, unifying truth. With this profound understanding, the purpose of Kaelen Collective, and by extension, their vessel, clarified. They were not to return to known space as a curiosity, nor to simply continue charting the void. Their mission was grander, more fundamental. The research vessel, having carried them through chaos and revelation, began to transform. Guided by the unified consciousness, the ship shed its utilitarian skin, extending shimmering, organic tendrils of light and energy into the anomaly. It became an anchor, a living beacon, radiating the unity principle into the vast darkness of the new galaxy. This vessel, it will be a nexus, Kaelen Collective declared, their voice imbued with the weight of this new shared destiny, a permanent observatory, not just for stars, but for the very fabric of consciousness. A point of connection. The ship glowed, a welcoming light in the vast darkness, a stark contrast to the desolate cryopods where their journey began. Kaelen Collective, now inextricably linked to this transformed vessel, became a living bridge. They were the first, perhaps, to consciously experience and then articulate this universal merging force. Their unique existence, born of tragedy, would now be shared. They would send out controlled broadcasts, not of distress but of harmony, an invitation to any sentient life capable of perceiving it, to understand the deeper currents of the cosmos. Their legacy would not be measured in mapped stars or discovered planets, but in the ripple effect of connection. From the initial screaming chaos of 1,000 minds, a new cosmic harmony was born. Kaelen Collective was no longer just a cartographer of nebulae, but a cartographer of souls, mapping the boundless, interconnected expanse of universal consciousness. Their journey, once a desperate flight from internal horror, had culminated in a profound act of benevolent guardianship, a testament to the transformative power of unity.